Find the idea. QC5 plus works only if one defender is overloaded. What would you play? Now rewind. Mikhail Tal has white against Tal-Petrosian in Candidates tournament. The point is not to memorize moves. In this episode, track the quiet mystery. The natural answer, the piece with too many jobs, and the square that proves the tactic was prepared. If a move does not change one of those things, we move quickly. If it does, we stop and turn it into a question you can use at the board. First quiet clue. This move earns its screen time by changing the open file before the forcing line appears. This is the first real clue. Now 3. CXD4 is the next pressure test after 2. And F3. Second exchange, not just points. One guard leaves, and the bishop route around move 3 becomes easier to see. The previous checkpoint, 2. And F3, changed the defender map before 3. CXD4. 3. CXD4 sets up the next question at 4. NXD4. Pause here. What square became harder to defend after 3? CXD4? Third trade with a price tag. If the defender recaptures or ignores it, ask where the king can still breathe. The board is already drifting from 4. NXD4 toward 12. B6. Fourth visible prize, hidden access. After 12. B6, the loose defender is easier to use. Look back one checkpoint. 4. NXD4 made the position fragile enough for 12. B6. Fifth defender count changes. A safe-looking position turns into a trap when the forced reply has no spare helper. That is why 13. Next 6 is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 12. Vex 6. Sixth greed warning. The capture looks local, but it changes the pawn shield near the king. A quiet detail from 12. Vex 6 is still hanging in the air when 13. Next 6 arrives. Seventh open door. Once that defender disappears, the piece route has fewer obstacles. 13. NXG3 sets up the next question at 14. FXG3. Eighth defender audit. If one defender is gone and another is pinned to king safety, what disappears after the exchange? 13. NXG3 is the clue that makes 14. FXG3 less random. Ninth forcing checkpoint. Counterplay pauses while we inspect the entry point. Which defender cannot cover both threats? The previous checkpoint, 14. FXG3, changed the defender map before 15. RXF8+. This is the bridge to 17. NC7+, where the defender has fewer choices. 10th tempo hit. A quiet defense would be nice, but this check makes the rook lift urgent. What does NC7+ reveal about the king's real cover? That is why 18. RF1 is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 17. NC7+. The board gets less comfortable for the defender. The knight or bishop coordination is becoming harder to ignore after this move. Look back one checkpoint. 17. NC7+ made the position fragile enough for 18. RF1. Pause here, what line open because 18. RF1 forced the issue. 12th initiative in plain sight. The reveal detail matters because the shrinking route still needs an answer. 18. RXF1+ sets up the next question at 21. Nexa 8. 13th defender count changes. A safe-looking position turns into a trap when the rook entry has no spare helper. The board is already drifting from 21. Nexa 8 toward 21. ND2+. 14th timing question. If the defender spends this move on survival, which diagonal lost protection? This is the bridge to 22. Coup2, where the defender has fewer choices. 15th quiet clue. This move earns its screen time by changing the back rank room before the forcing line appears. 21. ND2+ is the clue that makes 22. Coup2 less random. That is why 22. BG4+ is not just notation. It is a new problem created by 22. Coup2. 16th forcing checkpoint. Counterplay pauses while we inspect the overload. Which piece has two jobs? The previous checkpoint, 22. Coup2. changed the defender map before 22, BG4+. Now 23. KD3 is the next pressure test after 22, BG4+. Pause here. Did 22, BG4+ change material, tempo, or access first? No fireworks yet, but the trap is getting organized around move 23. Watch the tempo race. Who has to answer first? 23. KD3 sets up the next question at 23. QC4+. 18th king safety audit. If the reply damages the pawn shield, the next tactic gets easier. Look back one checkpoint. 23. KD3 made the position fragile enough for 23. QC4+. The board is already drifting from 23. QC4+ toward 24. Q3. This is how initiative grows before the punchline. The move does not win immediately, but it changes the central square. This is the bridge to 24. QC5+, where the defender has fewer choices. 20th collapse warning. The check forces a reply while the trade choice stays weak. A quiet detail from 24. Q3 is still hanging in the air when 24. QC5+ arrives. Pause here. What square became harder to defend after 24? QC5+? The lesson from Tal-Petrosian's hidden queen trap is concrete. The final tactic works because the earlier moves changed the defender map. In the My Chess Coach lesson, replay the quiet mystery positions, solve the puzzles, and name the clue before the payoff. The candidate move, the overloaded piece, or the square that changed. Then run the same checklist in your own game before you grab material or defend automatically. That turns this finish into a pattern you can recognize in real positions, not just a highlight you admire once.